A pair of guilty pleas in New York today in connection with a years-long federal investigation into something so sick and twisted that happened in the late frantic stages of the 2020 campaign before President Biden's victory. The theft of a diary that was kept by his daughter as she recovered from addiction. Amy Harris and Robert Kurlander admitted today in court that they were part of a conspiracy to transport stolen materials, the diary, from Florida, where Ashley Biden had been living, to New York. They pleaded guilty to selling her belongings to the conservative group Project Veritas in the weeks before the 2020 election. Why would they do that? Let's bring in Mike Schmidt, New York Times Washington correspondent and MSNBC national security contributor. Mike, it feels like this might just be the beginning of this story. Tell us what happened today, who they were, and what might happen next.
So in the final weeks of the 2020 election, as Donald Trump was going on and on about Hunter Biden's laptop, there was this other effort to essentially publicly attack one of Biden's other child, his daughter. And what was happening is that these two individuals in Florida, the ones who pled guilty today, had stolen a diary that belonged to Ashley Biden. She had kept it while she was recovering from addiction. They stole it. They took it to a Trump fundraiser. Someone at the Trump fundraiser said they weren't interested in it and to give it to the FBI, perhaps learning a lesson from 2016. The individuals that had the diary, the defendants who pled guilty today, were connected to Project Veritas, this conservative group that has tried to help Donald Trump in different ways and undermine the media and such. And Project Veritas looks at this diary and thinks it's a game changer, thinks, wow, we could really help Donald Trump here. This could be a very significant thing in this very close election. But they were concerned about whether it was really Ashley Biden's diary. And what was laid out in court papers today is that Project Veritas told these individuals who had stolen the diary to go back into the home where the diary had been and to take additional items. And that in exchange for those additional items, they were paid for them. Now, this is a story about the intersection of the First Amendment and politics and the Justice Department, SDNY. As a media organization, you can be in receipt of stolen property, right? Edward Snowden stole those documents and gave them out to the media. But as a media organization, you cannot participate in the actual stealing of the documents. You can't go back to Edward Snowden and say, why don't you go back into the NSA and go break into these things and take these additional items? That brings you into the crime. So what we see today are these two defendants, one of them agreeing to cooperate, both pleading guilty, and an ongoing investigation. One of the individuals agreeing to cooperate in the ongoing investigation that is looking at Project Veritas and the role that its people played in this.
It also, though, reveals how sick and obsessed Trump and his allies were with the Biden kids. I think that's unprecedented in presidential politics. Rudy was running Hunter, and it sounds like his allies in the media, Project Veritas, were trying to destroy and humiliate Ashley Biden.
But it's also on there's something more insidious about it. Well, I mean, there's something very insidious about it. Ashley Biden kept the diary when she was recovering from addiction. So what they were trying to do, or what happened is they were selling the diary that she kept when she was recovering from addiction, and then they were trying to make it public to undermine her and undermine her
before
father.
The 2020 election.
Before the 2020 election, in the final weeks. So much of the country that's paying attention to this is looking at the Hunter Biden issue and the Hunter Biden laptop, but this is all going on at the same time. And it wasn't just a diary of like, oh, here's a list of different things that like I need to do or I did today. This was a diary she kept when she was recovering from addiction.
Will anyone else go to jail other than these two that pleaded guilty today?
All we know is that one of the two defendants has agreed to cooperate as part of the plea, and that they continue to investigate Project Veritas. The government has taken very aggressive action towards Project Veritas. They executed a search warrant at the home of its founder, James O'Keefe. They obtained a trove of emails from the group. They have gone so far as to lay out in a more than a dozen-page document, the government today, new details or details about what happened with this diary and the exchange of money and such. So, and it's being done by SDNY, an office that we know prides itself on its independence and will take on very ambitious cases.